Dream Hacker by Lane Shi, more commonly known as Otay, is not only my favorite album of the year so far, but it's also one of the most unique albums I've ever heard. Sonically, the album is one of a kind, with a marriage of different alien and familiar sounds, overlapping to create a dreamlike atmosphere. And that dreamlike quality is very intentional, because the album is based on a dream that Lane had. Out of that dream, this album was born. I was sleeping in my apartment in Shanghai, saw a kid throwing one rock onto another in a dream, and these rocks overlapped a rectangular shape in the middle. And suddenly the rectangle part shredded a stream of piercing light. Then I saw myself laying in bed, floating. In the air was this whisper: what connects you and me is the overlapping part. Otay got her name when she was young. She was on a trip with her parents to Niagara Falls, and she heard the sound of flute nearby. She approached it, and as the flute player saw her, he waved her over. The flute player was a Native American man named Coda. He asked, "Can I choose a name for you?" She agreed, so he gave her the name Otay, which means wolf in his language. Since then, she always had a personal connection with that moment, so she kept the name. In the album, there's a central theme of things overlapping. In a sense, overlapping represents the connection that certain people or objects have with each other, and how those connections can affect us. The album starts off with the slow, cold, and uncomfortable piano ballad, You Do, which tells the story of her troubled relationship with her father. Lane was born in the 90s, in a rural village in China, thus under the policy that limits parents to only having one child. Last time Lane was home, her father told her, "I wish I had a boy," something she had heard him say many times before. He connects this horrible experience to the trend of human trafficking in rural areas of China. Due to the one-child policy, a lot of women were taken away from their homes to marry men from rural villages who couldn't find wives. A very dark way to start off the album, but the rest of Dream Hacker reveals her way to deal with these types of situations and fears by looking at what the connection is to her experiences and to those of others, how they overlap. A lot of the tracks on Dream Hacker overlap with each other and speak to each other in a way. The piano of You Do grounds you, but before you can get used to it, it rapidly transitions into rub. Rub is a noise piece with a lot of field recordings. The burning and drony atmosphere here is just absolutely piercing and striking. The track is connected with the 7th song on here, Ritualware. In religion, rubbing is connected with starting a ritual. In this case, the ritual is for self-improvement. In Ritualware, a grandiose and theatrical track full of echoing gargantuan percussion and sample work, Lane tells the listener her view on churches and faith. Faith is amplified in church, but it is often twisted by outside forces like politics. People were connected with Jesus because of the pain that he endured, and they felt connected with him because of that pain. But lately, Lane feels like people have lost the ability to feel. With this track, Lane tries to argue that faith can be explored in your own way. It does not have to be connected with an institution. Even beliefs outside religion, like the belief in yourself or others, should be explored in your own way. Lane argues that this will cause people to regain their ability to feel for one another. Lightburst, the 3rd track, is connected with the 6th track, Two Rocks a Bird. They're both dense instrumental cuts with unique soundscapes that are utterly outerworldly, filled to the brim with unique sample work and noise that is simultaneously in your face, yet distant. These tracks both symbolize parts of Lane's dream. When the two rocks in the dream were thrown onto each other, they overlapped and suddenly created a piercing light. In my interview with Lane, she said that the title of Two Rocks a Bird also represents something else. We're all birds avoiding rocks thrown at us. In the track, the percussion is sporadic, unpredictable, and almost random. This is supposed to represent the unpredictability of life. We're often met with overwhelming amounts of things thrown at us, and the only way to live is to elegantly dance around those quote-unquote stones. WC is a track named after public restrooms. In China, public restrooms are often just holes in the ground, with shit piled on top of each other. In the song, Lane portrays every human being as being a part of that collective shit pile. But very clearly, ironically, the mood of the track is bouncy and fun. It uses the sound of a toilet flushing and even a fart sound. It's clearly not taking itself seriously. She's trying to romanticize this idea of being part of this gigantic pile of shit by saying that by portraying ourselves as filth, we're equal and connected in a weird way. This desire for connection is felt even more on the track Overlap, the lead single for DreamHacker. This song was written about her struggle to find connection, or an overlap, if you will, to her life in China and her life in the US. Due to the constant cycle of moving back and forth from China to the US, she felt out of touch with the culture she found herself in, struggling to even accept a call from her friends from the US. Instrumentally, this track is a theatrical and bombastic banger with fan-fucking-tastic singing. Her voice is equally gorgeous and ethereal as it is expressive and crushing. The percussion was made by playing the melody line of the vocals on the keyboard and assigning a different percussive sample to each note, which creates this echoing and pulsing beat moving the song forward. In the end, she accepts that it's okay to leave one life behind for another, and accepts the call from her friends in the US. After the first track, there's a very clear sign of growth and acceptance that lingers over everything. The dream made her realize the connection or overlap that people have with each other can have positive effects on your life. In a way, Lane views DreamHacker as an attitude or a mindset, a way to explore her own ways and accepting the stones thrown at her. Good Fool, the closer of DreamHacker, is basically the culmination of that attitude towards life. The title stands for accepting that some people may see you as a fool, because you know that this attitude will benefit your life, and that's what matters. It stands in direct juxtaposition with the first track, You Do, where that track left you with a sense of absolute anxiety for how people view you. Good Fool stands to accept that judgment and to move forward. And instrumentally, this notion is reflected here. It's more floaty and uplifting with these soft and gentle trip-hop beats in the background. DreamHacker is an incredibly special album in my eyes that reveals much more if you choose to look under the surface. For Lane, the dream led her to finding a new way of living, an attitude of connection and acceptance. At the end of my interview with her, she told me that even though DreamHacker is behind her, it will always be in her mind and heart, and she will continue to live with the attitude that dream conjured up. Hi, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. A lot of the information in this video was derived from an interview I did with Otay. I will be releasing that interview soon. This video was completed in just one weekend, 2.5 days. So it required quite a bit of planning to get that to work right. But I think it succeeded quite a lot. I really love the video, and I hope you do too. Lastly, there's another video coming up pretty soon that I'm working on right now about quite a bit of a bigger band that you might be familiar with. So look out for that. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.